Hey everyone, welcome to Vibin, the place where you can come every Monday to get inspired to live your best life. And Lindsay and I really love teaching about personal development, spirituality, manifesting, self-love, affirmations, basically any tools that we've had a lot of personal experience that have helped us to enhance our life experience and make things easier and more enjoyable. That's what we like to pass on to you guys. So my name is Kelsey Aida. I'm an inspirational blogger and author, and I'm here with my co-host, Miss Lindsay Robinson.
Hey
And
guys,
she'll tell you about what she does.
I'm Lindsay. I'm a certified hypnotherapist and success mindset coach. So I help women figure out what's going on in their subconscious minds or the underlying programming that maybe they're taking with them that doesn't fit with where they're going, and help them basically rewire their brains to align with what they actually want. So today, me and Kelsey have such a good show that I cannot wait to dive into. Kelsey, what are we talking about?
Today we're talking about how to support yourself through a hard day when you're just having one of those days and you're not about it. How is the best way to go through it in the most in alignment sense so that you don't feel like just because I'm having a bad day, now I'm going to manifest a bad life?
Yeah. Can we tell people why we thought of this, or why you thought of this rather?
I mean, yeah, I'm an open book. So here's the situation, guys. Today is an emotionally shitty day for Kelsey Aida. And it kind of started last night, I guess. And I'm pretty sure I'm about to start my period. So hormones are taking over my brain and putting all these negative thoughts in there. But essentially, it's like, how can you have a bad day without it like ruining you and your perception of yourself and your quote unquote vibe? Because this
Yeah.
show is called High Vibe in It, right? So to a lot of people, their definition of high vibe is like a feel good emotion. And there is some truth to that statement. Like when you're in the emotions of gratitude, of love, of happiness, joy, excitement, those are all high vibrational feelings where they vibrate at a really fast speed. On the contrary, when you're in lower states like depression, hopelessness, sadness, jealousy, whatever it is, fear, those are all lower vibrational states. Okay, that's like basic vibration emotions. We all kind of know this by
101.
now if we've been in this world for a while. But here's the real kicker is there is a way to be in a low vibrational state and then change it into being in a state of alignment so that you're actually not in a low vibrational state, even though you are in a low vibrational state. So,
Yeah.
for example, what I'm trying to say is, personal example, let's just go with today. So, today I'm just feeling sad. I'm feeling like I don't have any support in my life. I'm feeling like I have to do everything by myself, which is super frustrating. And it just makes me like upset. Anyone would be upset in that situation. So, here I am. I'm upset. I'm judging my upsetness like, oh, I don't want to feel upset. I wish I didn't feel upset. This is such a low vibrational state. But the way to alchemize and move forward and to fix this resistance to how I'm feeling is to just accept that, okay, today I feel sad and that's okay. And when you take away the judgment part from the shitty feeling, you can actually feel good even when you feel bad. Because when you feel extra bad when you're feeling bad, it's because you're resisting that feeling. But when you make it okay to feel how you feel, that's when you just feel it and it's okay. And now you're not feeling bad about feeling bad. Does that make sense?
Yes. And I want to circle back to a couple things that you said. The first one is, first of all, how we thought of this topic. Sometimes we go in and we plan and we prepare a certain topic that we know will resonate with people. But honestly, sometimes we just allow inspiration to take over. We allow for that moment to decide what we're going to talk about. And when I got on the call with Kelsey today and she's like, yeah, I just feel like crap. I'm like, can we talk about that? I think that would be great to talk about. And that's what I love about having like this open forum to just discuss what's going on, instead of like, imagine if we didn't have a podcast and we would just be talking to each other about all this amazing stuff and people wouldn't be able to hear it. But the fact that today you're feeling some kind of way, and it's the perfect thing to talk about today, because as we're going to talk about in a little bit, this is a really good time to discuss and explore the lack of feeling good. And the other thing I wanted to mention too is when you said, our show's called High Vibe in it, and we try to be, high vibe all the time, which is true, but I don't think talking about low vibe makes us any less low vibe. And I know you can completely agree with me. If you're feeling low, or you're feeling shame or blame or guilt, or all of the negative things that you just said, our end result, where we're going to try to hold your hand through and support you through, is that let's get back to this feeling of high vibe. By processing this, and by feeling this, and by giving myself permission to just feel like crap sometimes, I'm actually healing, I'm actually helping, and I'm processing, and I'm gaining so much wisdom and clarity. So yeah, all of that to say, I'm so glad that we have this ability to talk to people on this level and just be like, what are we going to talk about today? Feeling shitty? Yes, let's do it.
Yeah, and like, it's important to me because
Yeah.
I need to lead by example. Like, hundreds of thousands of people are listening to this show, and a lot of people are watching my Instagram. Over 1 million people have read my emails. Like, I'm affecting a lot of people, and they look up to me for how to help them live their best life and feel as good as they possibly can. So if I were just to come on today and be like, hey guys, it's High Vibin' It. I'm so excited about life. Everything is
Yeah.
great. Manifest what you desire. It's going to be really fun. That's me imitating my
First of all, who sounds like that?
First of all, that's actually like a part of me that I was imitating that kind of is like that sometimes. But if I were just to bulldoze over my feelings of how I feel right now and just show up in that super inauthentic way, like, what kind of example am I showing? I'm showing that it's not okay to feel how you feel. It's not okay to be authentic in front of certain types of people, which is true to an extent. You have to feel if it's safe or not. It's not okay to be in a quote unquote low vibrational state, which would just mean it's not okay to be human. And like, I can't give people the example that it's not okay to be fucking human. You're a human. You can't like deny who you are. That's like the worst way to practice spirituality and the best way to feel shit
Yeah.
all the time.
So let's talk about basic rudimentary stuff. Where has this idea come from? I really want to dive into why our first instinct is to shove our feelings down and not feel them, and just push, like you said, bulldoze right through them, rather than spend the time to actually see what they're trying to tell us or do for us. Why do you think we think that way?
Yeah, I feel like it depends where you're at in your journey, but I know for a lot of people listening to this, it actually comes down to using the law of attraction, your knowledge about the law of attraction, to your detriment by telling
Yes.
yourself things like, if I feel bad for 5 minutes, that's 5 minutes of momentum in this low vibrational state where I'm going to become a match to bad things happening to me, which there is truth to, which is why we're all fucking fed up with the law of attraction and how brutal it can be, because you can be feeling bad and then bad stuff can happen and then you feel worse and then you get into this cycle, right? There's like no mercy on the part of like the law of attraction, which is why you have to do everything to like turn your energy around, right? That is true. We're all annoyed by that. But the thing is, actually, when you deny your own feelings, you're keeping them in your energy field, and they're still going to be a point of attraction, even if you're not consciously aware of them. And that's why it's so valuable to feel your feelings when they come up, because all your feelings really want is to be felt. They just want to be seen and acknowledged and heard. And when you can give yourself the space to do that, they become resolved. And that's when your point of attraction can change for good. And that's when you can get out of the cycle of the same situations happening over and over and over.
I like that. And I can always count on you to go straight for like the law of attraction manifesting angle. And it's absolutely true. Even if you're, if you're in line with manifesting and law of attraction, or if you are just a regular human, I know you've heard people say to you, just think positive, just think positive, just find the next positive thought. And we've kind of been conditioned that by telling people this and by hearing this all through our lives, find the good in it, it's a blessing in disguise, that kind of thing. We're trained, even if nobody says don't feel what you're feeling, we're trained to think that way, because if we feel like, well, if I'm supposed to think of the positive thing, then what I'm feeling now isn't positive, it must be wrong. Even if you've never heard of law of attraction, it's just the way humans are and the way that our society is. Plus, feeling bad or negative or sad one day is not acceptable for people. Because, you know, even as a child, if you see a child cry, what do parents say? Don't cry. It's okay. Don't cry.
It's
Do you know?
okay, don't cry.
Yeah.
They basically shit on that kid's feelings.
Do you know? Yeah, exactly what they're doing is saying, you're making me uncomfortable with your crying, so you should stop that. If they were to just sit with the child and listen, or sit with the child and acknowledge their pain, acknowledge their frustration, and just say, I understand you're angry. And again, I am a parent. I am not a perfect parent. Sometimes I'm extremely frustrated with my kids throwing a tantrum, but I really do my best, just knowing these basic things, to acknowledge their emotion, validate it, and then move from there. How can we help you? How can I help you? Instead of just saying, don't cry. It's okay. Don't cry. And it's supposed to be comforting. Like, we say those things to comfort them, but it's actually doing so much opposite of comforting. It's invalidating them, and it's making them feel wrong. Right. So we take these things from childhood. So the first step, I think, as you know, we already circled back to, is just start being okay, not being okay. It's
Yeah,
okay
and
to not be okay.
validating your own feelings. Like
Yeah.
the favorite phrase that I can give myself when I'm having like heavy emotions is, any person in your situation would feel exactly the same way that you do.
Yes.
If somebody else was you in this situation, with your thoughts, with your experiences, with your ideas and your core values, and this thing happened to them, they would have the same exact response. Like, your response is human, it's
Yeah.
natural, it's normal, and it's totally the appropriate response. Like, if somebody slaps you across the face and you don't react, that's an inappropriate response. If somebody slaps you across the face and you get pissed and you want to punch them back, that's actually the more natural thing to
Yeah.
feel. Like, that's a response. Means you're
Mm-hmm.
alive. You're like in there, you know?
And if your instinct is to defend yourself, then that's actually showing self-love, is it not? By saying, like, you've crossed my boundary, that's not okay. And
Yeah.
whether or not you're slapping people in the face, or if it's on an emotional level,
Extreme
or just
example.
it's very literal, but I like it because it illustrates it very well. Whether it's experiential or situational or physical, emotional, the rules are the same. How are you going to love yourself enough to tell people where your boundaries are and honor them for yourself? What if your best friend came to you and shared the exact same feelings that you're feeling? You wouldn't be like, stuff it down, don't feel it. You'd be like, you would say, it's okay, don't cry. And try to, like, comfort them in whatever way that you know how. So, you know, just comfort yourself. Don't tell yourself not to cry, but just comfort yourself in any
Comfort
way.
yourself in a way that is, anyone in your situation would feel exactly how you
Yeah.
feel. It's normal to feel how you feel. It's the perfect, appropriate response to whatever happened. And it's okay to have feelings, because you're a person and people feel things.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we have a lot more to talk about with this. We're going to get more into why it's okay to feel bad, what to do when you just feel like crap and you feel like, even for just that day, it's hard to get out of it. We're going to really dive into this and give you guys hopefully some really good takeaways to ring in the new year with, I guess. I don't know, the next month at least. But before we get into all that, we want to talk about our really near and dear sponsor, Native. It is a company that creates safe, simple, and effective products that people use in the bathroom every single day. What we are here to talk about today is the deodorant, because we've tried it and it's amazing. It's aluminum free, it's safe, it's effective. I can't get over how well it works being aluminum free, because I don't know if any of you out there have tried aluminum free. It's like a hit or miss, but this stuff is super, super good. Simple ingredients. It comes in a wide variety of scents, and this is super fun to talk about because they come in all kinds of different scents. I got lavender and rose, I believe. Yeah, lavender, rose, and Kelsey got eucalyptus and mint, which I know she's obsessed with the smell. But they actually put out seasonal scents throughout the year, and right now that you guys can actually buy candy cane scent, which is so cool. And we made a joke that you could, like, add some holiday spirit to your armpits by getting candy cane scent. So if
Yeah,
any
so
of
you
you
can
get it
like
and
go to
try
your
it,
ugly sweater party in your ugly sweater, and then also smell like the theme of Christmas.
do
Now
it.
you got it going. Now you're gonna win that ugly sweater contest, because
I
you
think that
smell like
actually
Christmas.
might be the next one I buy, because I am really intrigued to see how it smells. I'm excited about that.
I'm
But
sure it smells delicious, like all
they
the deodorant.
offer free returns and exchanges in the US. So it's literally no risk to try it. And the cool thing about Native, you guys, is that if you try it as a High Vibinant listener, you get 20% off your first purchase if you go to nativedeodorant.com and use the promo code VIBIN, VIBIN, at checkout. 20% off your first purchase, nothing to lose, everything to gain. It's amazing. And it's safe. So safe.
And
So
they don't test on animals. This is a high vibe
yeah.
company, guys, with high vibe ethics and boundaries. So go to nativedeodorant.com to get 20% off your first purchase by using the promo code VIBIN and make yourself smell like a candy cane if you wish.
We know I'm the queen of segues, so I have a really good one. So we just talked about how to smell like a candy cane. How do we feel like a candy cane?
How does a candy cane feel?
I don't know. I
channel
imagine
it?
really good. A candy cane feels super festive and cute all the time, and skinny and just
Festive and cute
sexy.
and skinny all
Yeah.
the time.
Okay, so
That's
so
funny.
we've kind of talked about why we have been trained to brainwashed, I guess would be a good word, to feel like what we're feeling. If it's any kind of perception of negative, then we just shouldn't feel it. Which, okay, that's not true. Let's move on. So the next thing, I mean, do you want to spend more? I feel like that's.
I'm just laughing because I love how we're just assuming that people are gonna like pick this up and integrate it in like the 5 minutes that we talked about it. Like,
Well,
okay,
no, but it is
life lesson learned. Moving on.
It is absolutely a process, but
It is.
stop reinforcing this lie that you're not supposed to feel. I guess that's my point. And don't necessarily integrate it right now. You're not going to be able to if it's been a lifelong process for you, but at least you can do is when this comes up for you and you feel like you're trying to shove your feelings down or just numb it or put it in a box in the back of your mind, to just acknowledge, no, that was a lie. It is okay to feel what I'm feeling. And then we'll, as me and Kelsey keep talking at you, we're going to give you more tips and techniques that we've really learned helped us on how to love yourself through these days. So one thing I want to touch on before we get to that is right now, what day is it? December 16th, 2019. Right now is right before Christmas, right after Thanksgiving, right before the end of a stinking decade. We're going to go into 2020 in a whole new decade with a whole new mindset, whether you want it or not. So embrace a good one. There's a lot happening right now energetically. It's the holidays. It's stressful. The weather's changing, and it's, depending on where you are, it's really, really cold, really dreary, really cloudy. Seasonal affective disorder is a real thing. So I would venture to say that right now, this time of year, especially in the United States and wherever the climate is similar, you're probably having more bad days than usual. So I feel like it's really, what is the word I want to use? It's really poignant that we're talking about this today because a lot of people are probably going through this today. So that's the next thing I want to say is no matter when you're feeling bad, no matter when you're having this bad day, you are not alone. There are people all around the world that feel exactly the way you do. And you're not the only one. If you're feeling it somewhere out there, multiple people are feeling it too. Agree?
Yeah, agree.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all connected and we're all experiencing similar emotions, even if they're being triggered by different outside circumstances.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, maybe our lives look different on the outside, but they don't feel that different on the inside. We all
Yeah.
get angry, we all get frustrated, we all get impatient, we all get sad, we all get happy, we all get excited. We have this full range of emotions. And honestly, as much as it pains the part of me that hates to feel my feelings to say this, the part of me that loves to embrace my feelings wants to say that this is a part of life. Like, the beauty of
Yeah.
life is to be able to feel all the feels. If you didn't have any emotions, you would be so bored.
Look, there's that saying, the misery loves company. That's not a coincidence. It really does. You're feeling joy, you want to tell someone. You're feeling bad, you want to talk to someone. We need that sense of like support and that sense of community. So when you're having those bad days, maybe just thinking that, okay, I'm not alone. And if it's acceptable for them to be feeling this way, maybe it's acceptable for me. And maybe that can be like the training wheels that you need to really start embracing how you're feeling if you know that someone else is feeling it too.
Ooh, I have such a good self-love trick to teach right now. I'll just
Do
insert it here because it's good. So, when you feel like it's hard for you to love yourself, everyone knows how easy it can be to love like their dog or their child or whatever it is that you really, really just feel immense unconditional love for. think about that thing or that person or that pet or whatever it is just for like 1 or 2 minutes, and really just in your mind, like, oh, I just love this being. They're just so innocent and adorable, and they're always there for me. And I just love them, love, love, love. Get into that vibration while you're focusing on them. And then turn the focus towards you and imagine
Mm-hmm.
that they are part of you,
Yeah.
and that you can extend that same love that you extend to them to yourself. And sometimes you need to think of yourself as an outside person or thing in order to do that. You have to kind
Yep.
of remove yourself from your me, from your ego, from your internal perspective, take a step back and look at yourself from a third person point of view,
Yep.
and be able to see that you have a lot of the same qualities as that thing that you love. So how come you
Yeah.
can love that thing, but you can't love yourself? Of course you can
Well,
love yourself. Just nobody said it was okay, or nobody taught you how,
yeah.
or
Yeah.
modeled it for you.
Well, and I want to say too, like, I know, I know the way we're saying this is like, yeah, do it, you're fixed. But I also know how difficult it is, especially in the mindset of feeling crappy, to focus on something good. It's almost impossible. And
Yeah, it's
the second you do it, your mind is naturally going to want to refocus. Okay, that's cool, but back over here where everything sucks. And you're going to have to keep going, no, 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 I'm going to focus here. I'm going to focus here. It's going to take work for sure, but it will get easier. And as Kelsey said, you know, the more you practice just focusing your mind on that thing that you love, it's going to wander. It's going to want to go back to the thing that sucks, but don't let it. And even if you do let it, the amount of time you give it will be shorter and shorter, because it's about practice. It's about honing the skill to focus on the good, even when you feel shitty. It's not easy.
Yes, and here's the thing. When you're feeling super shitty is not the time to do that exercise, cuz like Lindsay said, it's going to be too hard. It's going to be out of reach
Yeah.
vibrationally compared to where you are. So the key is to start where you're at. Once you feel like you've processed the emotion, and literally by processing the emotion, I just mean feeling it without judging it for a certain amount of time, until you feel like the wave has kind of passed over you, and now it's so an emotion like creeps up, right? So it's like a small wave, and then it's like a huge wave at its peak, and then it goes into being just like ripples in the ocean again, right? There's like a medium point, and then like an up point, and then like a down point, and then it kind of simmers out.
Mm-hmm.
So once it starts simmering out, once it's had its way with you and you've kind of surrendered to whatever feeling that is, that's when you can start to self-soothe. That's when you can start to change your thoughts. That's when you can start to use affirmations to just make you feel only slightly better than you did
Yeah.
2 seconds ago. Don't try to jump the Grand Canyon, which is why I wrote the book, hashtag Actually I Can, the art of affirming yourself to greatness, because it's all about not affirming things that feel inauthentic. It's about affirming things from where you are and just helping yourself feel slightly better, one affirmation at a time.
Yeah. I like that a lot. You want to, yeah, you want to go for the next best feeling. And that is something we should talk about, that because not we talked about why we don't think it's acceptable to feel bad because of society, because we were taught. But also it feels bad. Nobody wants to run into the
Exactly.
fire. Nobody wants to run into a burning building if they know they're going to get burned. Nobody wants to allow the wave of crappy emotion to wash over us knowing it's going to feel bad. So I guess my question for you, Kelsey, is how do you allow yourself to do that, knowing that it's going to suck?
Yeah. Well, first I just accept that it's going to hurt for a little, but that in the long run it's going to hurt less if I just process it now. So
Yeah.
I approach my healing in a very extreme way because I'm just an overachiever, and so I overachieve at everything, even emotional healing. So like if I feel a feeling coming up, I'm like, okay, let's deal with this right now. And like luckily I have a lot of time to myself, so I have the luxury of being able to just like do this kind of
Yeah.
whenever I really need to. I know most people have to go to work a lot of days, or they have kids, or they have a lot of responsibilities or whatever. Luckily, I'm not in that space right now. So I have a lot of freedom to process my emotions and just be like, I'm just going to sit with this for 30 minutes and no one's going to
Mm-hmm.
bother me, and I'm just going to do it. But it's like, it's like a muscle. Like when you go to the
Yes.
gym and you lift weights, you can lift heavier and heavier ones with more practice. And every time you lift the weights, your muscles tear and then they rebuild.
Yeah.
So that's a painful process. That's why you get sore the next day. So emotions are exactly the same. Like it's going to tear you apart and you're going to get rebuilt even stronger every single time.
I love the gym metaphor because yes, it tears you down, but it gets you stronger every time. And also it hits on that point that you can't just go once and expect to have a six pack. You can't just go once and
Exactly.
expect to have the body of your dreams. It takes work, it takes dedication, and it takes the desire and intention and fuel behind passion and fuel behind what you actually want to achieve. So I love, love, love the gym metaphor because it's something everyone can get on board with. And it fits so well with when I tell people about the work of hypnosis or just any kind of inner work in general. You would never go to the gym and be like, okay, am I good? Can I go do the bodybuilding
Am
competitions
I
now?
skinny
Like,
now?
it's ridiculous. You would never even think of that. So why are we thinking of emotional work as a quick fix? It's not. It's not a one size fit all either. You might find certain things vibe well for you that maybe don't work for someone else, or things that work for other people that don't work as well for you. It's dude, it's a lifelong journey, but it is so so worth it. And it just takes practice.
Yeah, and to touch on like how can you tolerate the pain and like how can you knowingly enter into a painful state? Honestly, when you practice this, you just become like a fucking badass and you're not
You're like
scared anymore.
fireproof.
You're
Yeah.
literally like, literally, there's very few emotions that I'm scared of. Sometimes I get tired if I'm in an emotion for too
Yeah.
long, but I'm honestly really, I can't think of any emotion that I'm truly scared of because I've sat with all my darkest emotions at this point and I've practiced it enough to where I know that I'm actually not going to die, even though it feels like I'm going to die sometimes. I never do. I'm still here. And it's just a practice, like how you said. Like you can't just do it once and then expect to be perfect. It's going to take time.
Yeah.
It's going to take practice. And it's like anything. You just get better at doing it the more and more that you do.
You know that saying, you've survived 100% of your worst days?
Yeah. And it's like,
Guys.
how much uncomfortability can you tolerate? At
Yeah.
first, you might only be able to tolerate feeling your feeling for like a half a second before
Yep.
you want to die. Then it's like, okay, 30 seconds. Okay, now a minute, now 5 minutes, now 20 minutes, now 3 hours, now a day.
Yeah.
And the thing is, for me, I've never had to feel something more than like a day because when
Yeah.
you feel it fully, it goes away much faster. It not goes away and I'm trying to push it away, but it
It's
dissipates.
processed.
It
Yeah.
it it resolves itself much quicker than you
Hmm.
would anticipate because the fear is like, oh, if I dive into this emotion, I'm gonna get stuck there. When the truth is that's actually the opposite of what's gonna happen. If you
Hmm.
don't dive into the emotion, you will get stuck with that emotion,
Yes.
trying to come up and trying to come up and trying to come up until you process it. But
Yeah.
when you do just dive head first and you're like, okay, it's gonna fucking hurt, you're gonna rip the band-aid, then you can get through it much quicker. And then you're like, oh, that wasn't so bad. I mean, it was so bad, but only for like 10 minutes or however long. And now
Exactly.
I'm better.
Well, see, and the way you mentioned, like, there's really no emotion that you're afraid of feeling right now. Isn't that where we all want to be? Isn't that where we all want to get to? So, what you just described
It's freedom.
is a byproduct of doing the work, not even the goal that you have in mind. It's a bonus goal. It's a bonus gift that you've given yourself by doing this work. And it's just, you become, I mentioned the analogy of running into a burning building. Nobody wants to do that unless you're fireproof. And that sounds like that's kind of where you're going with it, is eventually you will get so I strong, is that the word, strong or resilient, that you could process anything and be okay. And you
I
always will be
just
okay.
I just feel free. I feel like it's the true definition of freedom because especially people who are obsessed with the idea of manifesting, like all of us are, we have that control freaky nature where we want to control and manipulate our whole lives, even if it's just energetically. So it looks like we're doing magic, but really we're trying to control everything. When you're like that, you're just trying to create certain outcomes to create certain feelings or to avoid other feelings that you don't want, or you're running away from certain outcomes to avoid certain feelings that you don't want, or you're running away from certain outcomes to feel the feelings that you want. That's not freedom. That is
Right.
having to run in whatever direction you think is going to get you to the feeling that you want. Freedom
Exactly.
is not being scared of shit and being like, I can feel anything, so it actually doesn't matter what happens to me. But then you process all your emotions, then you raise your vibration, and then all this great stuff starts happening to you.
Yeah.
So,
I love it.
speaking of emotions, we need to talk about BetterHelp because this is actually a resource that I've been utilizing and I'm really happy to share it with you all. It's basically an online space where you can be connected with licensed professional counselors, therapists, and caring professionals who really specialize in the issues that you want to talk about. So, it's basically online therapy. You can connect with your therapist via video chat, which is what I do. You can text your therapist worldwide. You can even start communicating with one in under 24 hours. So, even if you're not having seasonal depression or even if you're not going through a hard time, therapy is just a good tool to have in your
Mm-hmm.
back pocket because it gives you someone to hold space for you who doesn't have like an agenda in your life. They just want to help you feel better, but they're not going to react to how you're feeling because it actually doesn't affect them, which is so valuable because you can try to make your lover into your therapist. You can try to make your parents into your therapist, but they're always going to react. And like how
Yeah.
Lindsay said, they're probably going to shit on your feelings because they don't want you to be sad. But guess what? Your therapist knows that you being sad might be the very thing that's going to get you to happiness. So
Well,
they'll
and
let you be sad.
there's something to be said about just having a sounding board too, an objective, third party bird's eye view of the situation that you can just kind of talk through, and they can help you reach perspectives that you didn't even know were there, that you couldn't even see because you're too deep into it. So if you guys want all the benefits of BetterHelp and at least try this online therapy to see where it can get you, you guys can just go, you can get started right now by going to betterhelp.com/Vibin, and just simply fill out the questionnaire super quick, get matched with a counselor that you'll love. And even if you don't, you can switch it with no strings attached. But go to betterhelp.com/Vibin and get started seeing new perspectives, I guess, today. It'd be really great.
Yeah, it's a really affordable option, and you guys get the discount. It's available on desktop, mobile, web, Android, iOS apps. Like they make it so easy to connect you with a professional. So definitely
Yeah.
use it. I've been using it. Highly recommend betterhelp.com/Vibin for your
And it gets
10% off your
Yeah,
first month.
10% off your first month. I forgot to say that. So anyway, yes, 10% off. You might as well take advantage of it. I want to dive into what to do. So we've figured out it's okay to feel bad. We figured out that this too shall pass, and I'm not alone, all that stuff. I've survived 100% of my bad days. But when you're in it, when you're deep in the thick of it, what do you do? What are your favorite ways to like cope in that 24 hours? Because I'm with you. I have bad days, and what I do is I tell myself, I'm going to let myself feel this way today because tomorrow I'll be even more motivated to get stuff done. And whether it's just I'm in a bad mood, or I feel a little bit depressed that day, or discouraged, or if I just feel super unproductive, like I'll have days where I'll do nothing but binge Netflix, and I have to like practice feeling okay doing that because I'm the kind of person that needs to always be doing something, or I get like super down on myself. So I'm practicing by simply doing nothing and allowing myself to do that. So whether it's that or just feeling depressed, I give myself one day and I say I'm going to feel everything that I need to feel in this day. I'm going to allow myself this time because I know that it'll make tomorrow that much better. And that's just something that I do. But what do you do during those days when you're like in the thick of it, rolling in the mud?
Yeah, I think giving yourself permission, like how you said, is key. And then also what we talked about before, by making it okay, validating your own feelings, reminding yourself, anyone in my position would feel like this. It's normal for me to feel like this. Um, the worst thing you can do is say, I shouldn't be feeling like this. It's okay to say, I don't want to feel like this. That's fine. But if
Yes.
you shouldn't all over yourself, that's not that helpful because the truth is, if you're feeling that way, you should be feeling that way.
Exactly. Thank you for saying that. That is, yes, absolutely true. And on those days that I'm just watching Netflix, I tell myself, this is what I should be doing today because I need it. Obviously, I need it or I wouldn't want to do it. Obviously, I need to rest, even if it feels in my mind not great. Just like, when you're sad or pissed about something or frustrated, it feels not great. It feels like you're falling out of alignment. But what we're telling you today is that this is actually part of your process. It is part of your journey. It's part of your path. You cannot get from here to there without feeling anything. It's impossible. You just can't do it.
And I want to bring to everyone's attention that these shitty low points, bad days, are actually a part of the manifestation process that's
Yes,
starting to propel your manifestation, not something that's taking
absolutely.
momentum away from it. This is when the deepest desires for what you actually want are born, because you're experiencing the opposite of what you want. And so you
Yep.
birth this huge desire for what you want. And that's what gets the energy rolling. That's what gets the ball rolling.
Absolutely. I find that some of the coolest things that have ever happened in my life happened right after I thought it couldn't get any worse, or some variation of that, you know. I always share the story about how I went into labor with my son the day he was 2 weeks late. I had 2 weeks of wondering, when is this going to happen? Does my body know how to go into labor? What is going on? And is he just going to live here now? Is this what's happening? And I like freaked out one day. I called my midwife and I had like a emotional breakdown. I was over it. I was so done being pregnant. Just a few hours later, I went into labor, and I've had so many situations in my life where it's been a mirror or reflection of that exact feeling of like, I just can't take anymore. I can't do this anymore. The next day, or very, very shortly after that, is when the shift happens, or when this huge monumentous opportunity occurs that I never would have seen before. And sometimes it's about that release. Sometimes just that process and releasing that energy, as you said, allows that the momentum to keep going, and allows those deeper desires to come to you, because you've just simply allowed that release. Sometimes willingly, sometimes unwillingly, but it gets out one way or another, just like my baby. Sorry.
Just like my baby. That's awesome.
Sorry.
I was going to say that another thing that's really helpful to do is to stop putting labels on your emotions. So
Okay,
instead
say
of
more about that.
saying, yeah, so instead of saying this emotion is bad, you could change your perspective or your wording to this emotion makes me uncomfortable.
Okay, I thought you were going to say like stop calling it angry and call it like something else.
No, we don't have
You
to
can
go
still
that
use
far.
those labels. Those
You can
labels are
still
fine.
be pissed off. That's fine. It's just don't say being pissed off is wrong or being pissed off is
Yeah.
bad. You can be like,
Yeah.
okay, being pissed off is really uncomfortable. I haven't had a lot of practice being uncomfortable. Here's an opportunity for me to practice. And
Yeah.
that's when you step into that fearless mode of like, ain't nothing gonna fuck with me. Because even if I feel shitty, I'm gonna be fine. Because I can live
Mhm.
in the uncomfortable and I'm okay with that because I've practiced that muscle enough.
Oh, that's a great way to say that. Living in the, well, because we know that when you get uncomfortable, that's when stuff starts to happen. Growth and comfort can't exist in the same space. So when we
True.
were just talking about like these breakdowns and these like emotional releases give birth metaphorically to these big, huge, amazing opportunities and gifts that you wouldn't normally see. Another way to say that is, yeah, it's fucking uncomfortable, but get there and you can see all of the amazing stuff that's on the other side of it. I just said the F-bomb, and I never say that. But I must be super, I must be really, really passionate about this right now, because I just think that the way that that was just said is really, really good. Growth and comfort cannot exist in the same space. So when you do feel uncomfortable, and when you realize this discomfort is like, you just can't take it anymore, try and get on board with the idea that maybe on the other side of this feeling right here, something really, really cool is about to happen. Right? I
Yeah,
think
and
that's really cool.
yeah, and you don't even have to feel like that until after you're done processing the feeling.
Exactly. Just
But
don't like
it is an
reject that
idea.
idea. Yeah.
It's an idea to be open to. I like it.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm all about not necessarily grabbing onto these ideas and hold it, because we know that's unrealistic to grab onto a concept and be like, yes, this is my new mantra. This is what I live by. But I'm all about just like, if you're not going to run through the door of this concept, just crack the door open a little. Just like peek inside and just like be open to the idea. Don't necessarily expect yourself to jump on board right away, because we don't operate that way. We're just throwing out ideas that work for us.
we're just all Dora the Explorer. We just gotta
Yes.
go crack that door, see what's over there. Maybe the map says this way's better. I'm not really sure.
Maybe there's a monkey.
We
Who
gotta
knows?
try it out.
Doesn't she have a monkey? I think
Dora
she
the
has a
Explorer.
monkey
Yeah,
buddy.
she has like a pet monkey slash best friend monkey, and then the map is also like talking. And
You
my
watched Dora
little
the Explorer.
cousin,
Did you watch
my
Dora the
little cousin
Explorer?
used to always watch Dora the Explorer, and she had like the matching haircut with the bangs and the bob, and so we always used to
That
like
is so
tease her
cute.
about it. But it was so cute, and I'm sure I've watched like all the episodes of the cartoon with her.
with her. Yeah.
But there's a lot of life lessons in those cartoons, you know? You
Oh
can
my God,
extract
it's
the
so good.
wisdom if you're looking for it.
Yeah. A lot of these a lot of these little kids cartoons have those same kind of underlying themes, and sometimes it's just for the grown-ups to see, but sometimes they're really nice life lessons that I'm just like, yeah, dude, check that out.
Like
Really
Dora
cute.
knows her shit. She knows her way around these jungles, man. These jungles of emotion.
Yeah, what can Dora teach us about our emotion? Just
Probably a lot of
explore.
things.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own medicine. I listen to that song that I love with all my heart. Oh my gosh, this is gonna surprise so many people. I'm actually really like laughing at myself that I'm gonna expose this on air.
Do it.
But one of my favorite songs is by what's his name? I'm gonna look it up right now. But I don't want to get the artist mixed up. I need to give him proper credit. Give me a second. Lindsay, feel free to talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Okay, so while you're
Going
finding
back
that,
to how people can deal on these bad days.
while you're doing that, I don't know about you, but I want to talk about our next sponsor, our next awesome sponsor, because it's awesome. So we're both using, but I am diving really deep into this, and it's Skillshare. If you guys haven't heard of it, it is really, really, really cool. It's an online learning community for the creator in all of us. They have thousands of classes online, basically on everything you could think of: photography, creative design, creative writing and design, productivity, social media stuff, business classes. And I'm actually taking an interior design class too, because I can't do anything like that, and I think it'd be cool to learn. But their classes are on demand, so you can learn at your own pace. You can get inspired, join a class, create something you'll love. And this is a great service to use whether you're trying to like get out of a rut, which maybe you are if you're listening to this show right now, but getting out of a rut or just trying something new is really, 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 it's just so awesome. I love stretching my creative muscles, and I love learning something new all the time. And this is stuff as a business owner, especially the social media classes, I can really use. This is stuff you can take with you and create even more amazing stuff for yourself in your life. Kelsey, what are you taking?
Yeah, I am not actively taking the classes yet. They're all on my wish list because I haven't had time. But there's a bunch of classes about Squarespace, and that's where I host my blog.
That's right. You told me that.
And I like do all my own web design and stuff. So it's cool to see that there's a lot of different ways to like get creative with Squarespace, and there's a bunch of tutorials on there. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is so relevant, super helpful. And I just like Skillshare because it's cool, it's easy to use, and it's like a membership platform. So you don't have to pay for each course individually. You get access to so much information for so little money. So it's a really good investment.
They send you, like, I think I'm getting them weekly, your like recommendations based on classes you've taken in the past. They'll show you like new classes that are there that fall in line with the topics that you're interested in. So if you guys want to try this and join the millions of students already learning on Skillshare, you guys get 2 months free when you sign up at Skillshare.com/Vibin. That's Skillshare.com/VIBIN, and get 2 whole months of unlimited access to the classes for free. Very cool.
Love it.
I'm trying to think of what the next classes I'm going to take. There's so many.
I don't know,
Dude, there's so many.
All our listeners get 2 months free when they go to Skillshare.com/Vibin, which is like a very generous offer, because you know how many classes you could take in 2 months for free?
Yeah, especially because they're on demand. Anyway, did you find that thing you were looking for?
Yeah, girl.
What is it?
So Big Sean sings "I Don't Fuck With You."
Big Sean.
It's a great song, and I'm going to tell you why. And the point of this conversation was to say that everyone has their own medicine, right? So Dora the Explorer has her own medicine. I give my own medicine. You give medicine. We all have a medicine to offer other people, and Big Sean's medicine in the song "I Don't Fuck With You" is so good, because when you're in this vengeful state of like, I've been betrayed, I need better boundaries, I'm moving on with my life, this song will validate your feelings. And that brings me such a good point, that when you're having these bad feelings, a great way to validate them and process them is through music, because music
That's
is
true,
and you can attune to the music of the frequency. So what I like to do, because I'm very intentional, is I have playlists for certain moods that start with songs that validate that feeling, but end with songs that help to soothe me into the next best feeling. So for
That is
example,
freaking genius.
yeah, so my playlist is like the emotional scale put into songs. So first I'll start with where I'm at. So let's say if I feel really sad, the songs are like so sad, so depressing, super emo. And then after I've done that for like 5 songs and I cried a lot and I've processed a lot, then it's time to like start feeling a little better, right? So get some relief. So then I go into the songs that are like, everything's gonna be okay, like it's just happening right now, like songs that actually soothe me. And then before I know it, I've processed and I'm feeling better and I had a great time enjoying some great art.
Where is this list?
Well, on Spotify, I have all these different playlists. So, for example, if I feel like shaking my booty, I have my Latin salsa playlist, which is very important to me. Also, I have a playlist called Breaking Shit for when I'm angry, and that has all the angry songs on it to process my anger. Then I have a station called Better Days, which is for when I want to wake up on the right side of the day and start my day with a nice, like, beautiful, relaxing, high vibration. I have all these different ones. I have happy days for when I'm feeling happy. I have what's the one I always listen to?
Okay, I
Obviously, I
have
have
to
my
make
one
a
for the
request.
gym.
Kelsey, I feel like people need this playlist. Can you like share them as a link?
Yeah, let's do it on the Patreon.
Yes.
So if you're a member of our Patreon, you'll get a link to whichever one of these playlists I decide to share with you guys. But Let It Go, Kelsey. That's the playlist that I listen to when I'm really sad and then I need to feel better. Because it has a progression of music that goes from like really sad to like it's gonna be okay. And
I
that,
love this idea because it envelops all the stuff we've been talking about.
yeah.
Acknowledging the feeling, diving deep into the feeling and validating the feeling and then processing it and moving forward and feeling better. Dude, you need to post this on Patreon.
Yes.
Guys, if you're not a part of our Patreon, go to patreon.com/high vibe, become a patron. You get not just this amazing playlist that'll help you process those really crappy emotions, but also discounts and bonuses and exclusive content, extended episodes. Everything's on there. So go check it out. Patreon.com/high vibe. Okay.
And
Sorry.
even if you're like, I don't really care about bonus content, but you love our show and you want to support it, this is the best way for you guys to do that because it actually does cost money to create this show. And Lindsay and I pay every month out of pocket from our own other jobs and other ways that we make income to make this show happen for you guys. So, in a perfect world, eventually we would be getting paid to do the show because it takes a lot of time and energy and we're providing a lot of value, but right now it's just in the beginning baby stages. So if you want to support the show, this is a great way to do it by going to patreon.com/high vibe, and you get access to all this special stuff and extended episodes every week because we always run
And
out of time
discounts.
on
Did I
here.
mention the
Yeah,
discounts? I
and
think I said
discounts to all
discounts.
our courses. Like my manifesting
Courses
masterclass
and
is like $1,000, but Patreons get 20% discount. So you
yeah.
can literally like pay however much a month to support us, but you're gonna get $200 back.
All my
Sign up.
hypnosis audios are up there, my programs. Yeah, discounts. There's no, it's like off, what is the word? There are no out of bounds, no boundaries to what the discount will go for, at least with my stuff. You can get a discount on anything.
All of our
So yeah.
online stuff
Yeah.
is able to be discounted, not services or retreats or anything
Oh,
like
I
that,
thought I
but
had
all the
my
online.
services up there. I'll double check it. If I don't, maybe I should think about it. I don't know.
Either way,
Either way,
patreon.com/high vibe is
shout
the
out
place
to the
to support
unplanned
our show.
Patreon plug. We
And
did not.
Lindsay, you're going to have to remind me to put that playlist up there, and I will do that.
Oh, I will, because I feel like it's like, I can't believe we've never talked about that before. That is amazing. That's really cool. And of course, you would have something like that because you're all about like digging deep and like coming out the butterfly every single time.
Digging deep and cutting out the butterfly.
Wait, I think that's a cicada if you dig deep. I'm not quite sure because they live underground. I don't know. I have a lot of weird knowledge. Okay. So so the next thing that I want to talk about, how can we ensure that we're actually growing and processing the emotion, which this playlist sounds like a fantastic way to figure that out, versus feeling it and having like, is it possible to feel through the emotion and have it do nothing? Or is it always doing something in your opinion?
I feel like it's always doing something unless you're holding back so much that it just keeps coming up in the same way over and over.
Agreed. So if there's
So,
like a kink in the hose and you unkink it just a little bit, you're going to get a little bit of water, versus if you just take the knot out and have it just explode all over you.
That's a good
Just
analogy.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, there's a kink in the hose. You can decide how quickly you want to
I'm
process
imagining
that.
this hose like it's aimed at your face, the open part, and you're like scared to like undo the kink because you know it's gonna fucking spray
It's
your
gonna suck.
face off.
This is gonna
And
suck
it's
so
gonna
bad.
suck, but then you'll fix the hose, and then
Yeah.
eventually you can like dry off and you'll be fine.
And how refreshed do you feel after you get an explosion of water in your face?
Ice cold water to the face always does the trick of changing
in your
state.
nose. Yeah. There's so many good metaphors today on this episode, you guys.
I know, they're just coming through. I love it. I feel like we go straight to the changing the state before we are in the state, and that's the problem.
Absolutely. Yes. So I think one of the biggest ideas here is you got to feel it. It's okay. The step 1 is knowing it's okay, but step 2 is like, okay, now what are you going to do about it? It's okay. Now what are you going to do about it? You've acknowledged it. Do you want to feel this forever, or do you want to process through it until the next bad thing comes? not to be depressing, but you're always going to have stuff come up. You're always going to have amazing days. You're going to have miracle days, and you're also going to have the equal opposite of those days. You're going to have really crappy days. You're going to have days where you wonder if you're doing anything right. You're going to have days where you judge yourself nonstop. It's just going to happen. It's a fact of life. So it becomes like, how do you want to ugly cry days? Yes, you're going to have good days and ugly cry days. Thank you to our team in the background that just gave me that inspiration. So how are you going to handle it? Are you going to ignore and feel nothing? Or are you going, because I would think that feeling nothing on the bad days doesn't allow you to really fully feel the good days either. You can't possibly. You have to feel the contrast. It's true with anything.
It's so true. When I came out the other end of being severely depressed for 3 years, I realized that it really expanded my emotional capacity in both directions, because you have to have balance. So for as low as I was able to go when I came out of it, I was able to go so much higher than before, because the contrast was everything. So yeah, just to recap, you guys, when you're having a bad day, some things you can do: stop judging yourself, validate your feelings, make it okay how you're feeling, give yourself some space to feel that feeling, and also, like, if you need it, reach out for support.
Yeah, there are people waiting to help you through it. And
get
not
on
invalidate
BetterHelp if there's no one in your immediate life who can hold space for you, and most people can't because they're not professionals, you know. Or see Lindsay, she's a hypnotherapist. Or come to my self-love retreat. I'm teaching people exactly how to do this type of work because that's what I've been practicing for the last couple of years. So yeah, I feel like I need to just mention that there's a few spots left. So
well, let's talk about it, because we do have a couple minutes left. If you guys are feeling some kind of way this time of year, we are waiting to help you. Like, we were created for this planet in part to help exactly this situation. I know, I don't doubt it for a second that I was put here to help people through this kind of stuff. So Kelsey, tell them about your retreat.
Yeah, so I'm taking a group of women to Mexico, February 19th to the 23rd. There's only a couple of spots left. Everyone who's coming is amazing. A lot of people have been in abusive relationships, or they just want to stop repeating toxic cycles, or they just feel like they're not confident in themselves, or whatever it is. This is a place where for 5 days, we're really going to do the work to up level and also to soothe our nervous systems in the process. So even though we're going to be doing some intense emotional work, will also just be relaxing so that we can integrate it and process things and move forward. And you're going to go home from the retreat, honestly, as a new person, which is perfect timing because it's February, the beginning of the year, the beginning of a new decade, like how Lindsay was saying. And like, I've been practicing self-love so hardcore for the last couple of years that I feel like I can really lead by example. So just hanging out with me, you're going to see what it's like. Someone who actually really does love themselves.
Isn't it KelseyAida.com/retreat?
Correct.
I got it right. Okay, go to KelseyAida.com/retreat to get connected with Kelsey, to see ways that you can join her in Mexico in February. And I have a wait list started for people to get on if you want to work with me in January or February next year. get on the wait list. We will help you clear limiting beliefs and also increase a little bit of self-love if that's your thing, which 99% of the time it is. Has something to do with something. So clearing limiting beliefs, embracing new thought patterns, aligning your mind for success and wealth and abundance and happiness and anything you want to feel in the next decade. We can retrain your brain to feel those things and attract more of it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I love this episode. This is honestly the unplanned episodes that we've had have been my favorite so far. So I hope you like it. If you guys want to reach out to us, you can do so. Catch us on Patreon or Facebook or Instagram or anywhere. And we will see you next week. Maybe it's going to be planned, maybe not. We love you guys. Have a great week.
Bye.